What's up, guys? It's Nate. This is Abi Tri's episode, and I'm going to upload it a little bit bare without an intro and an outro for now, just in the spirit of getting it out as soon as possible, because I think a lot of you guys would benefit hearing this episode before state to cool off some nerves. So no intro, no outro, just an episode for now. Enjoy.
So I was really deep in the weeds, and I looked at your original thing with TerraLoco with your collab thing, and you kind of described how you started running. So take me through that. How did you start running for the first time, and how did you with that 4th of July 5K?
It was the 4th of July 5K, and actually my mom is a runner. My dad has actually completed an Ironman as well. A lot of people don't know, but I've actually been swimming for almost 7 years.
Yeah.
So a big part of my life. I was on national team, top relays, super fun stuff. And then during COVID, I couldn't go to practice because obviously there was the whole epidemic. So my mom was like, let's just try running. And I did it very casually. It was just probably once a week. And then eventually my parents we're going to put you in this little 5K that my mom always did every year. And they put me in that. And I'd never ran a race before. I'd never done anything, and I ran a 21-minute 5K. My parents were eventually yeah, you're going to join cross country. We're going to make you do it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And then it just kind of all went from there, and it was really fun. And I ran for Casson one season, and then I was like, okay, this is fine, but I'm I don't know if I want to do it again. I came to JM, did track, and then it became a much bigger part of my life. JM coming in, my coach now, Dakota Hiller, was just fantastic. She treats everyone with respect. She cares about everyone's progress, no matter how fast or slow you're going. It was just the most positive environment, and it was just, I just immediately felt welcomed, even though it was my first time on the team.
So when you first qualified for state, you kind of going into that, and this applies for both cross country and track, but what kind of emotions kind of dominated you when you were kind of those last few days before state, race prep?
The first time that I went, honestly, it was just a surprise. I just kind of went in and I was like, this is cool. I didn't stress about it at all. I was just
yeah,
I made it. I'm not expecting to do anything crazy. I'm just going to go out, do my best. And it's just cool that I'm here. Because at that point, I was just I was a little 7th grader. My big anxiety year started in 8th grade.
Right.
But 7th grade was just kind of wow, this is so fun. I just kind of get to do whatever I want. It's so chill.
Yeah.
And then it went downhill the 2nd year more so mentally.
Because at that point you weren't, you were just, with all due respect to some random 7th grade
100%.
Person who was just running, you didn't feel that pressure, I'm assuming, because you didn't have a lot of expectation from a larger community. But we'll definitely get to that. How does performance anxiety kind of manifest before big races in your 8th grade season? How did it kind of affect your 8th grade season?
So my performance anxiety in my 8th grade year, it started after the Eastwood race, which is a huge race in Southeast Minnesota. And then I went in to Eastwood and I won that race. And that was my first time winning Eastwood. And that race, it's a hard course. It's it's a big meet. After that race, I had people coming up to me and be like, oh, are you going to win today? Are you going to do this? And then eventually I didn't realize it, but subconsciously I was okay, so I have to win. Otherwise people are going to be disappointed. I'm I have to perform this way. I have to run a certain time. I have to beat these certain people to not disappoint. Yeah. And I kept thinking that all season. And eventually that led to me dropping out of races, mid-race. I think I dropped out of a good 3 to 4 races, including the sectional meet, which I was ranked to win, ranked to go to state again.
Right. And
it didn't happen. And I would finish, I would stop a mile in, not because there was anything wrong, but I just was mentally I was my stomach hurts, or I'm just there was one race, Big 9, where we got there 30 minutes before the race started because our bus was so late. I was pacing, I was panicking. I was it was terrible. I dropped out of that race 800 meters in. And that just kind of started it all. And it was just one of the most terrible feelings, just being I know I can do it, but I just mentally couldn't do it anymore. And it was so hard dropping out of those races, but it's definitely made me mentally stronger, and it's it gave me a good story to be like, this happened and this is how I recovered from it.
Oh, it's a great story. And that's basically the entire story of this pod. And it will take only about 2 hours to get through it, but that's okay. What was your mindset that you kind of had back then that really caused you to drop out so early in the races?
It was the fact that I thought I needed to win. I wasn't thinking about, what do I want to do? How do I want to run this race? How do I want to perform? I thought, these people want me to win. These people are watching me because they think I'm going to win. These people watch me because I have this kind of gap. These people watch me because of this. I was thinking about how other people were thinking about my race and how I thought I needed to perform to keep up that reputation, which as an 8th grader, like, it was intimidating. Like, I was one of the youngest people there. I mean, I was still in middle school. Like, it was just, like, I would always just expect things from myself. And I still do that sometimes, which isn't great. But I would just go into the races being like, okay, all I need to go is win. Like, I wasn't focusing on time anymore. I was just focusing on, like, living up to expectations.
Right. For you, I mean, it seems like it was kind of binary, where it was like, if I win, then it was like you view it as like a success. But if I don't win, even if I get second and I get like a 15-minute 5K, it's still a failure because I didn't win. Because it just seemed like it was super binary. And how did that mindset affect how you kind of reflected on races at that point in time? So we're like, you'd run a race, you'd get second, you'd get that time, but you wouldn't win. How would you look back on that?
I wouldn't look at it with like a huge ego mindset being like, oh, I should have beaten this person. Like, I'm better. It was the mindset of, oh no, I didn't do this. I should have done better. I'm not going to be like this. I'm not going to be a good athlete anymore. If I can't win this, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, it just led me thinking to the future where I was like, if I can't do this now, I'm not going to be able to do this later. If I can't do this here, then I can't do this then. And like, looking back on those races, like, there was nothing about me being like, oh, I just want to win because I know I'm better. It was the fact where I was just like so in my head that I was like, all I need to do is this for people to be impressed. All I need to do is this to make my coach proud, or this. And like, no one was putting that expectation on me, but it just, in my head, that's what I made up.
Yeah, that makes sense. But NXR that year, you kind of come back. And you kind of mentioned on your Instagram, it's like your first like comeback race, like your redemption. You know, you're starting to get over it. But in reality, it was like that first step into conquering what had affected you that 8th grade year. So what did that race mean to you? That race,
the only goal that I went in with that race, I'm like, all I want to do is finish. I went in that race and I was like, I don't know anyone here. There's no expectations. It's a big race. I'm obviously not going to win it. Like, I'm not going to focus on placing where I want to go. Like, I just need to finish it. And finishing that race, I was just like, it gave me such a relief because, like, I didn't go to state that year. And I was like, I knew I could have. But finishing that race made me be like, okay, I can still finish races. This isn't something that, like, I started and I can never end. It's something where I'm like, okay, I can still finish races. Even if I don't run as fast, I know I can finish them mentally. And that race just kind of like started like the recovery of just not finishing races. There were obviously, the next cross country season was the first race back, I believe, was Luther actually. And I remember starting that race and just, I was crying, I think almost the first at least through the first mile, probably the first mile and a half. And my friend at the time, Rye Mathis, she graduated. She goes to lacrosse now. I was running and I was telling her, I'm like, I can't do it. Like in the race, I was like, Rye, I can't do it. I was like, I can't do it. And she's like, no. Like she was literally like, and she kept pointing next to me. She just kept snapping her fingers. She's like, get right here. She's like, right here, stand right next to me. And like, I know like that did so much for me mentally. She's like, I'm just not going to let you drop. She was like, no, you're going to be right here. And then when we came out of the woods, there's like always like parents and stuff. I started running over to my parents and I was like, I can't do it. And they were like, no, go. Like they were like, no, you're not stopping. And at the time, after the race, they were like, we probably seem like jerks, like telling our kid, like, just keep running. Like, you can't stop. But like, that was the mental push where it was like, okay, no one's going to let me stop this race. they're going to make me get up even if I stop anyway, so I might as well just finish the whole thing through. And that race wasn't my best race physically, but mentally, that was like a huge hurdle for me because I realized I'm like, I can still finish races and no one's going to let me quit. So I might as well just finish all my races now.
Do you have any mantras that you repeat yourself that may have, originated from Luther?
I actually work with a sports psychiatrist, Ruth Brennan. She's fantastic. I've worked with her since my 8th grade year. And what she taught me is just focus on where you are in the moment, because I can't control. The big thing about when I worked with her was just all about what can I control. I can't control what other people think. I can't control like how other people run. I can't control anyone else. I can only control like my actions. And so the things that I would control were finishing the race, making sure that I didn't like stop in the middle of the race, making sure that I wasn't like having like a panic attack before the race, which my 8th grade year, I remember, the big thing that season was just finishing all my races, but like especially finishing Eastwood. She came to watch too. Like she's fantastic. Ruth is fantastic. She clearly supports all her athletes, and it was just all about like run for you. Like this isn't for anybody else, this is for you. Like you have no reason to like think about what other people expect from you. It's just, what do you want?
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of mentioned like how there's a kind of a narrative that you would have before of, having these expectations on yourself. So how do you kind of change that inner narrative of that, what you think people expect from you versus what you expect from you? And how do you kind of tell yourself that, no, this is not actually what is true. This is just something I made up in my head.
Yeah. So a big thing was I would just literally ask myself, I'm like, what am I even afraid of right now? Like if I was panicking before my race, I'm like, what am I afraid of? I'm like, I'm not afraid of the race. I'm not afraid of the pain. I mean, I've went through it so many times.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm afraid of is what other people think, and why do I care?
Right.
I'm like, and that sounds, it's very much easier said than done, because obviously I still struggle with it to this day. Like performance anxiety will never go away. It'll always be there. But it's just coming down to like making a mental list of like, okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. We're at a cross country meet. It's not like there's like wild bears like coming out to chase us. Like it's a cross country meet. It's not that serious. She would always say, channel your fear to excitement, because if you think about it, fear and excitement have the exact same emotions. Like when you get excited, you get like really hyper, you get nervous, you're kind of just like butterflies in your stomach. You're just like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And fear is the same thing. Like you can get sweaty palms, you get like nervous, like you get like antsy. It's the same feelings. And if you just shift your mindset from being like, I'm so nervous for this race, like I'm so scared. All you have to just like and it helps when you say it too. Like I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like this first race of the season that we have in like 2 weeks, I could be like, I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'm going to be the same. I don't know if I'm going to do this, even though I put in work in the summer. It's just, I'm excited to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
And not saying I'm excited to win, or I'm excited to do this, or I'm excited to run this. It's just, I'm excited to go out and race again.
Right.
Like just not overcomplicating it.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I also experience this too when I do like going on shoots. I have this same thing where I'll be like, and this comes back to your point of like going through like the perspective of getting publicity, and it's like, shoot, all these people know me. I gotta come here and I gotta do some crazy stuff. But then I'm like, well, it's kind of the same thing where it's just like I gotta go back to the mindset of, oh, I love doing this. That's what I love to do. Why do I have to put so much other extra things on there? So like kind of bringing back that youthful mindset that really has helped me a lot. So then after that, I kind of went deep into the weeds and doing it. I went way into the Instagram, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna find everything. Notice you posted a photo of like a paddleboard, and on this paddleboard was a book, and it was Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It was, and I did a little digging. It was like about I think it was an octopus.
Yeah, it was an octopus. It was. I still have the book, actually. It was, I don't remember 100%. I read a lot. I'm actually a big dork. But it was about like this old octopus and this lady who worked there, and it was like I think she was the janitor, I'm pretty sure. And it was like this old octopus, and she like, and in his head the octopus could like talk. Obviously he couldn't talk in real life, but it was like he was talking in his head and like communicating with this girl. But I'd have to grab the book and like flip through it because I know I annotated it too.
Yeah.
As well.
But I'm getting somewhere with this. So basically it just highlights the example of just like finding that community, even if it's an octopus, right? So what specific things did your team really do that helped you with, pre-race anxiety, and how did they help, especially, joining up John Marshall your first year?
My team is fantastic. I honestly couldn't be more lucky to have the team that I have when I was struggling with performance anxiety. I had obviously Ryan Mathis, and then the second person, she might have been, actually she was the best with it, Anna Thompson. I love her so much. She, with all my races, especially like after my 8th grade year, all she would say like before my races is like, just finish. Like all you have to do is finish. She's like, we don't care. Like we don't care how you do. And every time I would finish a race, like I would wait for all my team to finish, obviously. And then she'd come up to me, she'd be like, did you finish? And I'm like, yeah. And then we'd get so excited, like just about finishing. And there were several times where like we would have awards, and then they would be like, and they'd call up me and they're like, oh, like the winner, whatever. And she's like, wait, you won? Like she genuinely didn't know like
that's so cool. Yeah.
And that was just like such a relief because I was like, she really doesn't care. Like, not that she doesn't care about my progress, but like she was like more cared about me as a person than like how I was getting points for our team or how I was ranked. And just the simple act of her being like, did you finish? All we're going to do is finish every single race. That was just such a relief. I'm like, okay, it's not about what time do you want? It's not about like, how do you want to place or all this? It's like, it just came down to simple as finishing. And she by far was the best person with it. And she's still the best person to this day.
Yeah, to me, Anna just strikes me as someone who just doesn't care at all about the result. I think from her, it's like she cares about how the team's feeling, like how the team is actually like enjoying the sport. And I watched Cooper, Cooper Lukinghouse?
Yes.
I have spent I think it's a week, because I got back to the Boundary Waters and I found out about Cooper. So I spent the last like week just yapping about Cooper, like friends, like people that know running, and then I confuse the crap out of some other people. But the thing I like about Cooper and his mindset is that, and his coach's mindset is that they also do the same thing of where they really just care about whether Cooper's liking the track. If he goes to Worlds, if he places at Worlds, if he does whatever, it doesn't matter to, Cooper and his coach. It's just like, oh, I get to run, I get to have a good time, I love the sport. I can do these things, I can push myself to go to Worlds, but like, even if I don't get the results I wanted, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because it's just about loving the sport, which I thought was super cool. What are some things that they do specifically that really help push you, like specific actions and even some affirmations?
My coach is really good with it as well. She would also be like, okay, like she would be very willing to like sit down and have like a 30-minute conversation with me, even though if it was just something so silly. She's like we would just talk about it and we would like get through all the emotions. Like sometimes in my head, like it feels like everything is just in a knot and like I just can't get it undone. And sometimes all that I need to do is I'll just sit down with her and I'll just word vomit. Like I'll be like, I'm worried about this, and this for this reason. Like even if it's so silly, it just feels so good to like say it all. And then you just realize how ridiculous it sounds.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that my team has done and my coach has done is just listen. Because obviously everyone experiences performance anxiety. It's something that's very normal for all athletes. I mean, if you're nervous, you care. Like if you get nervous for a race, that just means you care. But to the level I was experiencing it, just the fact that they were listening, and then they wouldn't say things to like specifically, like I would say things, I'm like, okay, these things trigger it. So like if you say like, are you gonna win it? Like winning, or like certain phrases, like
that
would just like,
I have a few written down, but yeah.
Yeah, like they would completely avoid saying those. And if I felt uncomfortable with something that they were saying, and I was like, hey, just so you know, can you not repeat this? They would be like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry, we never meant it in this way. Like, we just have fantastic communication to the point where it's like, if something makes someone uncomfortable and we mention it, we're like, hey, this made me uncomfortable, or this made me a little extra stressed, they're like, sorry, like, we won't do it again. Yeah. And it doesn't cause like a rift between the friendship. It just kind of like, it just makes us stronger.
Yeah. And I think something that strikes me too is that like, you're not worried about whether they're perfect or not, because at some point they're always going to make a mistake and say something that you might not like them to say. But I think what you like out of them is that effort, just like that showing up, that listening, that really just being intentional about it, and just eventually, they will get to the point where they do change their narrative. But until then, it's important. I like how you're making it seem like the effort's important, not necessarily the perfection.
Oh, 100%.
So you also mentioned too, and we talked about this a little earlier too, but that you would look, and this is more applicable to track, because track, I think individually it's a harder thing to qualify for than cross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But when you would, at the meets coming into sections, you would mention that you would think about sections too much. You like focus on what would happen in the future more than staying grounded. So how do you stay grounded before sections?
So something that I worked with my sports psychiatrist a lot was just, if you feel like you're drifting into the future, I just look at where I am right now. And this happens typically when I'm falling asleep at night. At night is when my mind runs around the most. Like, some nights I'll have a hard time falling asleep. But what I think about is, I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I'll like touch, like the big thing that I do is I touch. So like, yeah, if I'm like thinking like, okay, how am I going to run this race at sections, whatever, I'll just be like, I'm right here right now. Like, I'll be like, I'm sitting at my desk. I can see my computer. Like, I'm talking to someone else. Like, this is what I can control right now. I can't control what happens in a week. I can't control what happens at sections. I can only control what's happening right now. And sometimes taking breaths help too. And it's a very hard skill. Like, again, very much easier said than done. I've had a lot of practice with this. I've been working with Ruth for like over three years now. And I still struggle with this skill sometimes. And even she said, like, you can't master it. Especially if you're in a spiral, it's really hard to get yourself out of it. But the more you practice just being like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. I can't control anything else. I can't control the future. What can I do right now? And then that's what I do. And then I'm like proactive. So like, I do a lot of like extra work. Like, I do like the core every day. I do the stretching. I do the injury prevention, like all that extra stuff. Like, that's me being like, okay, this is what I can control. I can't control what happens at sections, but I control this right now.
What does a good breathwork and stretching routine look like for you, and how do you use that to help calm you down?
So I do 6-1-7 breathing, which is what Ruth has taught me. So you breathe in for 6 seconds, you hold at the top for 1, and then you exhale for 7. Or you count your breaths, which I kind of like a little bit more than the 6-1-7, because I don't necessarily like the counting part that I have to do it when I'm doing it. But I like to be like, okay, in for 1, out 2. And you don't have to do like deep breaths. It can just be like regular breathing. It just centers you. And then the big part of it is not just necessarily counting your breaths, but being like, if you catch yourself like drifting off to another place, what she'll tell me is she'll be like, don't like be like mean to yourself and be like, you need to get back here. Like, why are you like thinking ahead? She's like, just gently bring yourself back to where you are. Yeah. Which is your breathing. And then that stretching routine that I do is more so for my physical like health, but it also kind of helps me calm down at the end of the night, because I'm just like, okay, I'm not ending with anything serious. I didn't end my day with like a run. Like, I'm ending it with stretching. Yeah. Like watching what I do every night is like, I stretch and I watch a show with my family. That's like our routine every night is like, we're watching a show together and then I'm on the floor stretching. And it's like, it's like a tradition at this point. It's really fun. Yeah. Super cool. Oh, it just left my brain. That's okay. So this year you joined the swim team again. Yes, I am going to be actually.
And you made that jump, and I don't think it's very common for people to do running and swimming at the same time. Like you mentioned, you would like run during your lunch break and then go to swimming practice, like absolute mama mentality. Who kind of inspired you to rejoin swimming again?
So I never quit swimming. I only quit club, but I've been swimming for, again, about 7 years. It wasn't high school swim. Lauren, the swim coach, actually approached me. She was like, hey, would you ever be interested in joining the swim team? Like, obviously your top priority is cross country. And she's like, I totally respect that. But if you want to come to a couple practices, go to a couple meets and maybe sections, see if we can qualify a relay team for state, which she was like, it's not a priority. Like, if you don't want to, it's okay. But she just kind of introduced the idea. And then my parents and I and my running coach sat with it and we're like, this might be fun. And so I went from not swimming at all in the off season of swimming, because whenever I'm not running, well, until like the past year, whenever I wasn't running, I would be swimming in the swim season, like intense, like double practices, like working out like 3.5 hours a day on top of lifting. Like it's intense. Like swimming is, that's an intense sport, especially if you're committed all year round. But she was like, if you want to, like, we would do this with you. Like we would make it work. And that's kind of when the idea sprouted, and we were like, okay, let's make it work. And it was very stressful it was the first time we were doing it, but I was so happy with how the experience turned out, not because I went to state, but because it was so fantastic to be a part of 2 teams. And high school teams are my favorite because the bonds you make on there are just fantastic. The coaches are great, and like everyone's so supportive. And the girls on the swim team, they never looked at me and were like, she barely even comes. Like, why is she doing this? Like, they were like, hey, you're here. Like, this is great. Like, we're so excited to have you. Like, it was never like, there was never any like, why is she here? It was just all very accepting. And then eventually we got 2 relay teams to state. I went to state in both my events and for swimming. And that was obviously, that was so cool. Like, I was freaking out about it. Like, that was one of the coolest things that had happened to me. But overall, it's just I remember when we qualified our first relay, we didn't think we were going to qualify in it. And I turned, when our last swimmer hit the wall, because it was the medley relay, so like I swam breaststroke, our last swimmer was swimming freestyle. I turned to Julia Ogren, and because I looked up at the board and I saw our time as the state qualifying time. And I looked at her, I'm like, we just made state. She's like, no, we didn't. And then she looked up and then she's like, wait, we did. And then we all just start screaming. And we're just freaking out. And like that moment will be like engraved in my head forever, because we hadn't gotten a relay team to state in like years.
Yeah, that's insane. Compare that experience swimming at state, to your experience going to state for the first time in cross country. How are they different and how are they similar based on what your mindset was?
Oh, wow. For swimming, my first time swim state and my
grade,
first time cross state?
7th grade, yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting. So swim state, I went into it because I was training in the off season. Like I was training at high school swim, but it wasn't as serious as I was used to. My first high school swim, I went into it and I was like, this is just going to be fun. Like, obviously I want to do well. Like I want to like swim as best I can, but I was like, this is really fun. And like, because it was such a unique experience. Like, I was just enjoying, like, bonding with the team. Like, we did, like, we slept over at a hotel. Like, we had team dinners. Like, it was more about the experience, I feel like, than the actual swim. I mean, I still wanted to do well. And, like, I was, like, obviously, like, more stressed. But, like, it, compared to 7th grade, both of those times I went in and I was just kind of like, this is so cool. Like, this is just such a fun experience. And they were both cool for different reasons. Like, 7th grade, I was like, first time going to state. And then swim, I was like, first time going to state and swim after cross state. Yeah. And, like, they were both so, like, just, like, mind-blowing at the time. Again, different. Like, I was younger when I was in 7th grade, so I was like, this is insane. But they were definitely different with how I approached them, because high school swim state, I was like, I can go in this. And I'm like, I know I can compete up there with people. I mean, I didn't do great at that meet, but I was like, I know that I have a shot of doing well. So I definitely put a little more, I wouldn't say pressure, but I was like, I definitely put a little more focus on it than I did when I was in my 7th grade year. My 7th grade year was just kind of like, wow, this is so fun. Like, I get to go to do this. Like, this is cool. Yeah. Like, I didn't really think of it as like a running race. I went into swimming being like, okay, I'm here to compete.
But you didn't compete with the expectation that you would win.
No.
Which is different from before, which is interesting.
Yeah. And that's
super cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good growth point for you as well. When you did swim and run, was there any kind of moment of doubt when you were thinking like, oh, maybe I can't handle this, maybe I can't do this, or were you just like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this? There
were probably 100 moments of doubt all the time, almost every day. But when I look back at that experience, obviously, like, it was stressful. Like, there were times where I was like, I don't know if I can get off work for this, because I also work, and I'm also like, I do a lot of like I'm a very good student as well. So all of that, it was starting to like build stress. But whenever I would get stressed to that point, I would sit down with my coach and be like, okay, we need to just like change up how we're doing it right now, because right now it's not working for me. And my coaches would be checking in consistently and be like, hey, how are you doing with this? Like, how are you feeling physically? How are you feeling mentally? Like, is this too much? Is this too little? Like, are you handling everything okay? And there were obviously moments of doubt where I was like, am I doing too much? There were so many times where I was like, is this impacting my running? And it could have been helping it, and I'll never know, because I chose the experience with swim, and if I had to go back and do it again, I would do the same thing that I did, because it was just such a positive experience and something that I would never trade for the world.
Yeah, it's interesting because I also have 100 doubts too about my career in photography, and sometimes it's like, you know, even if you have those doubts, it's still something that, you know, you can still go through. And I'll tell you what, people that do what I do, they don't talk about it. Like, no one ever talks about like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And part of that I blame on social media. And I think that also spills over into the running community too. And I think, everyone has 100 doubts. Like, a lot of people that have doubts don't express it because of how social media works and how like maintaining an image works, which is, I think it's kind of unfortunate. But so the fact that you're talking about the fact that you still felt doubt after that is super, super cool to hear.
I'm the most, I will share pretty much anything. Like, people can, I've talked to people all the time at running meets, and I'm a constant like oversharer. I'll be like, yeah, I'll tell you anything. I'm like, I don't have anything that I like want to hide. All my experiences should be shared and normalized.
Yeah. Cause like, I'm the same way. Cause like, I'm not helping anybody if I just talk about how good my life is. I'm not helping anyone.
No,
I'm really not. So state this year for track, you were sick going into it.
I was. This was more so for sections track. I was sick a little bit for state, but sections I was very
so sections
sick.
And state. So in addition to dealing with performance pre-race nerves, how did you also deal with like that disadvantage of and kind of rise up? Yeah.
I had when I went in, I had a very, very sore throat. Like, I had a sore throat, I had a cough. The air quality was also bad, which did not help. But I went in, especially for the 3,200, I knew I had a big gap, but in my head I was still like, okay, but what if something else happens? And I knew logically probably something wouldn't, but all that I was focusing on is I'm like, okay, I'm sick. I'm not going to change it in 2 hours. I'm going to do anything I can, even if I look stupid doing it. So I drank like emergency. I drank like all the vitamin C. I was drinking electrolytes. When I was at the meet, I was wearing a mask because of the air quality. And I was like, do I look a little ridiculous? I'm like, sure. But I'm like, this is me controlling. This is me controlling what I can. Because if I am just like, okay, I'm just going to sit and pity because I'm sick and I'm probably not going to do as well, that's not going to help me. That's not going to make me change and not be sick anymore. I'm going to be sick to run. I just have to accept it and like figure out what I can do to change it.
Yeah. So we're kind of at the present day. But before we go there, you work now as a TerraLoco Ambassador. So what is how did that, first of all, how did that process begin?
So my dad is actually great friends with the owner, Tiffany. Tiffany is fantastic. And he was actually talking to her. He's like, are you guys ever going to do like a sponsorship program? And she was like, yeah, we were very interested in like doing a sponsorship program. And Abby's one of our like athletes that we were interested in. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm like, I love this running store. Like, they're very inclusive with everybody. And they do a lot of great work for like the schools and like various charities. And I was like, I would love to be a part of this. And so I started talking with Tiffany, and she was like, if you would like to be an ambassador, like, obviously I signed a bunch of forms, and then I went in, did some photos, did interviews, and then I got some product, which I use like every day. Like, there's stuff like I've gotten multiple like free shoes from them, and it's great. Like, one of them I run in right now, and they're great shoes. Like, and I never would have picked them up otherwise. But I started working with Tiffany, and also I think she was interested in, again, my story personally with performance anxiety, because I mean, that's something that I just love to share, and it's something that's very known about me, and it's something that a lot of people like to hear about. But I started working with her, and then all that she asked in return was just some social media content, which I was like, this is fun. So like, I get to film content like however I want, and I just get to promote this product that I love. And it didn't feel like pressure. It felt like it was just kind of like, it didn't feel like they wanted me for being a good athlete. It felt like they're like, you seem like a great person, a great fit for this program, so we want to offer you this. And that's what I loved about that sponsorship that I have currently.
And how are you planning to use your position at TerraLoco to really help advance the running community?
Honestly, what I've still been doing is just kind of like sharing my personal experiences, whether they're good or bad, because again, I'm a very just open and honest person. Like, I have no shame in being like, I did this, and I'm like, it was a terrible experience for me. And Tiffany has actually talked to me multiple times, and she'll send me like questions randomly, like, hey, we're doing this interview thing. Like, can you send in some of your answers to these questions? And some of them are mental health related. And she would always be like, if you don't want to share, like, it's fine. I'm like, no, I want to share. I'm like, that's my favorite thing about my platform, is that I can
you get to share.
Like,
yeah.
It's like I have the opportunity to share to all these people. And I know several runners that I've already helped. Like, I've worked with an old Mayo graduate. She's amazing, and I actually talked to her a lot about performance anxiety, and I connected her with Ruth. I've connected multiple athletes with Ruth, actually. And that makes me feel so happy, because I'm like, okay, these people are experiencing the exact same thing, and I have the opportunity to help them because I have this experience in this field.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. Yeah. And we'll actually get to some of that in a little bit here. So just we're going to just ask this next series of questions. We're going to kind of try to change the narrative of like mental health and running, because I think, as content creators, we need to do that, because it's just so under talked about so much in this sport, and frankly, in a lot of sports. But today, right now, what would you tell 7th grade you moving to John Marshall for the first time?
Oh my gosh. I would tell myself so many things, not all physical. I would just tell them, like, I just say enjoy it. Like, it's really nothing. Like, one of our phrases on our team is, it's not that serious. It's one little thing. In the whole span of life, it's not gonna, like, make a huge impact. I would do so much. I would do so much to go back and talk to my 8th grade self, who was struggling just so mentally, and just be like, all I would tell her is just like, it gets better. Like, all you need to do is just focus on yourself, and like, what do you want? Like, so many people can tell you, be like, it's gonna get better, everything's gonna be fine. But I feel like if you heard that from your future self, like, I so wish that was possible, because like, so many things would just be so different if you could just give advice to yourself. But like, just being able to tell yourself, like, and I just tell myself, like, enjoy it. Like, you have this opportunity, and it doesn't really matter what else happens. Like, just enjoy what you're doing. And as long as you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. Enjoying it and putting your heart into it.
How do you rebuke doubtful thoughts and like your perceptions, whether they're fake or not, the perceptions of expectation now?
They never go away, so they still come up.
Yeah.
The main thing I do is I just talk about it. And I know that's hard for some people. I know some people don't have that opportunity, and I'm very grateful that I have friends, parents, and coaches to support me. And again, another reason I use the platform is I want people to be able to be like, to talk to me. I've talked to a lot of like random athletes, and I'm sure that I've helped other athletes that I don't know of, but all that I do is like, both my parents are fantastic. Both my parents are awesome with my anxiety. My mom and I are very similar. My dad got a lot better through the process of when I would explain to him like how I was feeling. He's great with it. He's not a very anxious person, but he's understood it a lot better. But I'm very lucky to just have that support system. So like if I ever come home and I'm stressed about something, I'll literally just sit down and I'll tell my parents, whichever one is home or if both of them are home, and I'll just be like, I'm worried about this. And then when I say it out loud and then we have a conversation about it, I'll be like, this is so silly. I'll be like, why was I worried about this? And like, obviously there's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to share this, but eventually I do. Cause like, I'm a very easy to read person. Like it's very easy to tell if I'm stressed or not.
Yeah.
So my parents will be like, what's bothering you? Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, okay, this is wrong. But the big thing is just being able to talk to someone about it. And again, not everyone has that, but I would love to be that kind of person to be like, if it was a random person, just be like, hey, I'm really worried about this. Like, I would totally be like, I got you. I'm like, I'll help you out. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I would love to be anybody's support system if they needed it.
So if you know like a friend of yours that's like super nervous to start a race or even like join a team or something, like what would you do to support them, and like what would you specifically say to them that would help?
I just love like the biggest thing that a lot of people can do is just listen. And sometimes people don't want advice back. Sometimes they just need to word vomit. Like yeah. I know that feeling so well where it's just like, I just need to say everything. Like, even if it sounds like I'm a really bad person if I say a certain thing, it's like, I just need to like get it out of my head. Because it's just going to ding around in my head the rest of my life if I don't get it out. And so if I have a friend who's come up to me and she's worried, all I do is I just sit and make sure that it looks like I'm listening, which I mean, I obviously am listening, but like, yeah, making sure that you're having like
head nods, yeah, like what I'm doing, yeah.
Like making it engaging and then giving advice when it seems needed. And also being able to be like, not saying that their fear sounds silly, but making them realize that they're making it more than it's out to be. Like I've had a lot of teammates where they're like, what if I don't do this? I really want to do this. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? The worst thing that happens is you don't do this today. And if you don't, then you have other opportunities. And it's like, and again, it's simpler said than done, but like, it's comforting to have someone, and I'll also just be around them too. If like they're stressed about something, I'll just be around them and be like encouraging and help them focus on the moment and be like, okay, what can you control right now? Like, what can you do to prepare for this race? Sometimes it's distraction. Sometimes it's just talking. Like one of my friends, like sometimes before races, like she'll just be yapping and I'll just be like silent. And she's like, does this help when I just talk a lot? And I'm like, yeah, it does. Like sometimes all you need to hear is just someone like yapping to just distract you. Like everyone copes in a different way. So it's not like a broad, like, how do you listen to someone? It's like, it varies by person.
For sure. Yeah. And like, I mean, like you said, like before, it's just like a small blip of your life. I mean, as someone who's about to be in their 20s, which is crazy to think about. High school, I mean, already looking back on it, it's been a year. It's already like this kind of back thing that's in the back that I don't really touch anymore. So like your life is going to be, and my life is going to be so much different 10 years from now, to where the stuff that I'm worried about today really isn't going to matter that much in 10 years.
No. And that's something I tell myself all the time.
Yeah. And like, as long as you control your controllables, don't worry about things you can't control. That's kind of what I've been doing. That's kind of my key. So in my experience, when like, when I'm feeling anxious, and I'll just be told to like, just relax, right? Just relax, just calm
That's
down.
one of the
Like,
worst things you can tell anybody. Never say that.
I think we both know about that. So what do you think is a better thing that they could say, or better thing they could do when that happens?
So it depends on where the person is at the moment. If they're like having a panic attack, which I've experienced multiple times, then there's the point of just focus right now. Like, I always do. My favorite thing is the senses. So I'm like,
Yeah,
what are you
same.
touching right now? Like, what can you see? Like, this is where we're at right now. Like, you are physically fine. You're not dying. You're safe. There's nothing you can control right now. Just focus on breathing. If they're like not panic attack and they're like just very, very stressed, I'll just be like, just listen to them. Like, what are you stressed about? And if they tell you, I'm really stressed about this race, I really want to do well. It's like, okay, you can't control that yet. You've put in all the training. You've done everything right. You just have to try your best. That's all you can do. And today might not be your best day. Maybe today's the weather is bad. Maybe your legs are extra sore. All you can do today is your best. But never say just relax to a person, because it's again not very possible. Like it's easy to calm down a little bit, but
Easier
it's not
said than
easy to
done.
just be like, yeah.
Yep, I'm good. And then also for like fans of this, and this could even apply to college a little bit too, and maybe just running in general. But a lot of fans of like the sport will just be like, oh, it's just high school. It's just supposed to be fun, and you shouldn't feel nervous because it's just this high school thing. So, what do you think a better mindset should be for fans who are looking from the outside to like high school running and even college running?
It's big to the person, because it may not seem like a big deal to someone else. Like me finishing my races in 9th grade year is like, okay, that's what she's supposed to do. You're supposed to finish races. It's big to me. It was huge to me at the moment, was finishing my races. Finishing Eastwood, I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I finished. Like that was huge for me. And people might be like, that doesn't make any sense. She just finished. Like, you can't judge someone based off of just looking at them. Like one thing could mean the world to one person and mean nothing to the other. Like my sister and I are very, very different. My sister plays soccer and does theater, and like I don't understand it. Like you don't have to understand it, you just have to accept it. Like you don't have to be a part of the community and be like a huge runner, super into it, to just accept people where they're at and just accept that they're nervous. Like you can't you can't judge someone based off of like how they're feeling, because it's big to them. It feels big right now.
Yeah. And something also that I also heard recently, like a piece of advice that I heard too, is to try to remove the word should from my vocabulary. Like, I should feel good right now because this is what I love to do. I should feel this at this point in the race, because you don't know that, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's just, you don't even know sometimes how you're going to feel in like 10 minutes. So like that's something that I've really done, and it's worked well for me. And then another thing that I've really done when I have gone through things like feeling those anxiety things is just like, redirecting myself, but also telling myself to think about things I'm grateful for. Like you said, oh, I'm safe. I'm loved. Like just basic things. I can breathe. I have 2 legs. I can physically run. Like that's something that's really helped for me as well. So if that happens to you, like if you're about a race now and you kind of feel that, that anxiety come into your brain, like step by step, walk me through, like, how do you go from that to being grounded and being ready to go?
So before my races, obviously I'm always a little bit anxious. So it's not really possible to ever be fully grounded before something big like that. But all I can do is just do my best to like calm myself down, because I know that like the more you're stressed before a race, like obviously the higher the heart rate you get. And so stress can definitely impact performance and like workouts. But if I'm feeling like nervous before the line, I just take a big deep breath. Like every time before my races, like whether it's a swim race, run race, like cross track, right on the line, when they say take your mark, I go, it's just like, okay, this is where I'm at in this moment. This is all I can do. It's gonna hurt really bad in like 15 minutes, but that's not what I can control right now. And all that I tell myself when I'm about to start my race too is I'm like, just get through the first mile. The first mile is always the hardest mentally for me because I'm like, it'd be so easy to give up because I'm not even in the race yet. Like it'd be so easy to just stop. But I'm like, just get to the first mile and then you're done. And then you just keep going.
Yeah, that's super cool. So we kind of mentioned throughout the episode, like so there's the questions that you'll ask like a runner, like what time are you gonna get? Are you gonna go for state? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? And those questions, I think they're pretty harmful for a runner to hear because it kind of assigns their identity to what time they get. So what are some better questions to ask to a runner like before their race instead of saying things like, oh, are you gonna go for the state qualifying time?
Those questions I would also actually agree they're also important, but it depends on when you ask them. I like to talk about my races like a couple days before they happen, or even like the day before. I hate talking about it on race day. So what I talk about is I would ask them like, hey, how are you feeling? Like, are your legs feeling okay? Like, how are you mentally? Like asking about the person. We're not asking about a stopwatch. We're not asking about an inanimate object or what's going to happen or the future result. We're trying to see how the person is feeling. Because what if they're sick? What if they're injured and you're forcing them to run? And you're expecting them to do a certain thing. And so when they finish, they're like, I didn't hit this because I was sick, but nobody knows that because they didn't ask me. Like, it's like, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling mentally? Like, are you sick? Are you like, do you feel like butterflies in your stomach, like nauseous? Like, it's just more so directed towards the person and not the future result on race day. But the day before, it is very important to set goals. Like, I don't want people to go in and be like, I don't need to care at all about this race. Like, this is just a fun time. Like, if you want to compete, then you can compete. But if you're just there for fun, like, that's totally fine too. It's important to set goals, but it's also important to set boundaries and be like, I just need to worry about me on race day and not the time.
Cool. So then after the race, what are some good questions to ask from a fan perspective after the race?
I always ask people, how did you feel about your race? Because some people might say, that was a fantastic race. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I have that all the time. Where like, I'll finish a race and they'll be like, that was such a great race. And I'm like, kind of upset about it. I try not to do it at the finish line. Like, whenever I finish, like, especially if I, like, I try not to be like, that was terrible. Because that's just poor sportsmanship. And I don't want to be perceived in the way where it's like, she just won that race. Why is she complaining about it? I want to be like, okay, I go to a safe place where like I know like people who don't know me aren't going to judge me and be like, why is she complaining? And then I just kind of like discuss my race. So I asked them like, how did you feel about your race? Because a race might look really good to someone else, but didn't feel great to the person. Or it could have felt great and not looked good. Like, you don't know, like, again, it's just kind of focusing on the person. And I would say like a day or two after, then you can talk more about like, okay, was this time what you wanted to hit? Like, you can get more on like the details. But on race day, it's caring about the person. Because when you're racing, it's hard to like separate yourself from, okay, I'm trying to be this certain runner to the person that you are and the way that you're feeling. So you need to make sure that on race day that you're separating that even though you might not have done what you wanted to on that day, you're still the same runner and the same person, and you can still accomplish that goal if you didn't hit it today.
Yeah. Say someone has a bad race. How do you kind of have that post-race conversation with them, and what does that look like for you?
So the big thing that we have is the 24-hour rule. So you get 24 hours to kind of dwell on your race and just be like, okay, I didn't like this race. And then once the 24 hours is up, it's like, okay, I need to move on. But the biggest thing, again, it's kind of like pre-race, is just listen to them. Like, there have been so many times that I've cried after, like, the finish line. Obviously not when I'm in the group of people. Like, I'll go to my parents and I'll just start crying. But, like, it's just listen to them. And, like, I remember last cross-country season, my teammate was trying to qualify for state and missed it by one place. And that was just devastating. And it was really, really hard. And she was just crying. And I was just holding her, I'm like, you have another 2 years. I was like, and all that I did, I was just holding her tight, and I was just like, okay, like, I'll let you dwell on this. And I was like, we're not going to focus on anything else. It's just going to be, what can I do to support her right now? And it kind of varies by person, depending on how bad their race was or how they were feeling, or like if they need medical attention or like mental attention, or if there's something physically wrong, like. But it's just kind of like focusing on the person, and I feel like I'm pretty good at being like, okay, they need this, this, and this. Like, if I have a teammate, like, I keep food in my car, like, whenever I go to practice. Like, if a teammate is like, I'm hungry, I'm like, go get something right now. I'm like, come with me. If they're like, no, I don't need anything, I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, it's
the Rihanna mentality.
Like, it's just like, okay, like, I'm gonna care for you because I care about you. And it's just kind of like, after, if someone has a bad race, I'll be like, be not extra nice to them, but when I say like extra nice, I mean like, okay, I have extra snacks in my bag. I'm like, eat one of these. Like, if I have something like that I know they really like, that I was like, even if I wanted it, I was like, no, they need it. Or being like extra attentive, texting them more like that day and that evening, because in the evening you can dwell on it more. But just being more like attentive to them and how they seem to be feeling by the like hour or so.
Yeah. And I think even the food part's important, because like when I've gone through stress, it's like an acronym. It's like HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Those are like when people feel the most stress. And I bet you're feeling 3 to 4 out of those 4 emotions after a race. So taking care of those needs, I mean, like you're doing, which is awesome. After a race, I think really helps. And what if they have a good race? Like, how do you make sure that they don't associate the time that they got, their achievement that they got, with their identity, and they don't set up a false expectation of themselves to do that in the future?
I give it the 24-hour rule. And if they're excited, then I'm excited for them. Like, if we're jumping up, down, and screaming, then I'm jumping up and down and screaming with them. Like, I will match their energy, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, this is great. But I'll also be like, what did you do? Like, that was especially good this race. Or like, how did you feel? Like, just like, and this kind of goes back to like how they comfort them after a bad race. I'll be like, remember how you felt after this race? Like, after this race that you defined as good? Like, you don't get that feeling every single race. And like, with a good race, I just like celebrating, because running is very hot and cold. Sometimes you do great, and sometimes
literally
you
and figuratively,
Yeah. And so I just kind of celebrate with them. And I'll be like, this is so great. And I'm like, now you get to do all this, and like, it's going to be awesome. But I use that reference more so if they have a bad race. I'll be like, this bad race doesn't define you, nor does this good race. You're just a person who's like, what am I trying to say? Like, you're still the same person you are. You just run a little faster.
Yeah, you run a little bit faster, which again isn't really that good of an indicator, because there's times like core stuff and competition that can always, more uncontrollables that always affects that. So like affixing, your identity is something that's more fixed and true, like, being loved, that is something that I think you do a good job of kind of, going back to, which is super cool. And how, I guess for you specifically, like, how do you separate your work from your worth?
It's really hard. I still struggle with this. I actually recently had a bad workout, and I dwelled on it for a good 24 hours. And I was like, this was just terrible. And then I went back. What I did is I kind of call it like my highlight reel. And that's what my sports psychiatrist also calls it, is you kind of flip through your highlight reel. It's like, okay, I had one bad thing, this is part of it. This is what I tell myself. I'm like, this is going to make me mentally stronger. It's going to make me physically stronger. And it was one bad day. It's one day. It's not going to determine the entire outcome of my season. It's not going to determine the rest of my life. It's one bad day. And again, I kind of gave myself that 24 hours to be like, that was really bad, and just kind of like dwell on it. And I'm like, now I'm kind of like, why was I so worried about it? Like, there was nothing to be super worried about. Like, it was one bad thing. And like, it doesn't define me as a person. I'm like, flipping through that highlight reel, I flipped through high school swim state. I flipped through my half marathon that I did earlier this summer. I flipped through, and not all of them are like sports related too. Like, I flipped through like passing my AP exam and like things that make me me and not things that make me a runner. Things that just make me as a person.
Yeah, I think that's super important because I think a lot of people have a fixed mindset in that case where it's not a highlight reel, but it's a low light reel. Like, I'll catch myself doing this too, where I'll like think about, oh, this happened. Remember when this happened? That was a bad experience. Remember when this bad experience happened? And I think what's important for a lot of people, especially athletes that perform, is to like, again, like you said, like really go back to that highlight reel. Remember when you ran a good time at this meet, yes, but also like remember when you inspired someone after saying something. Remember how you know, like you said too, like other things beside the sport, like, you know, passing your AP exams, or, you know, a good conversation you've had with like a family member or someone that you really like look up to, or like meeting someone cool that inspired you, or making this piece of content that you think helped a lot of people. It's just different things that really, you know, really keep you grounded and just like having your identity just like fixed into something that's not just, you know, dictated by performance or by time or any of that. What do you think running media can do, or just even media in general, to expand the conversation on mental health?
I think it just needs to be more talked about in general. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be like the most impressive, like the fastest athletes have to talk about it. It can just be anybody. Like, if you see it and you're just like, you're scrolling on social media one day and then all of a sudden you come up across this video of someone just like discussing their mental health with running, and you're like, I can relate to that. Like, it feels normalized. Like, it doesn't, like, it feels like your feelings are validated, and not that, and everyone's feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid no matter how you're feeling, even if you think it's dumb, even if you're like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, this is ridiculous. It's valid because no one can tell you how you're feeling. And so I think the more that people talk about it, whether you have a small or big platform, just makes a significant, like, it could like make someone's day and be like, wow, this made me feel like really good about how I've been feeling recently. Or like, if these people who seem like they have the perfect life share like, yeah, I had a really hard day today because of this, this, and this. They're like, okay, so their life isn't picture perfect either. So mine doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. Because there's so many, like, not just running influencers, but influencers in general.
Influencers in general, show
good things and like
the highlight reel, yeah.
And it's so hard to like be like, it's so you don't think of it in the moment that they're like, they struggle with things too, because it's not shown. It just needs to be shown, and you're not. And I think people are so worried that they're gonna get like hate for it, or they're gonna be like, this is just like insane. Why are you feeling this way? But no, people are gonna appreciate it. People are gonna appreciate it, and they're gonna respect the person more for that.
Yeah, I mean, my thing too is like, if they do decide to, you know, call you out because you're experiencing that, then I don't want them in my circle. Why would I want to cultivate that community? So like, it's even like a filter almost, where you're just having all the good, loving people in your community and the not so much people out there, and they can do whatever they want to do, but they're not going to be here. And like, also when you mentioned like seeing content online that really validated you, it was kind of interesting because I experienced that too when I was reading your post bulletin thing. It was like, you're talking about how you said like people maybe be like, oh, you're just nervous, but you know, I need to perform this well to meet people's expectations. And it was like, yeah, I experienced that too. And you're also like, oh, you can't teach it, you can't tell people, you can't communicate it. But I'm like, well, you just did right there, because that's you don't need to teach it, because you just got to experience it, you know. Yeah. So I think a big, huge thing that's been really constant in your journey so far is that a huge emphasis on community. So for someone who wants that kind of community in their life, but don't quite have it yet, what can they do to really cultivate that?
I would just say join things. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It can just be something that you like, a common interest. It could be a club. It could be a sport, obviously. I mean, that's what I do, but sports aren't for everybody. Like, and that's fine. Like my sister's a big theater person. Like she joined theater and she loves it there. Like she has her own community there. Your community will not be the same as someone else's. You could be friends with someone and they could be in a completely different community and you're like, I'm not a part of that. But you need to it's about sharing common interests, because when you join cross country, if you join like a sport or a club, you already share something with that person. You already have a bond over that. So you already have kind of a community there. It just depends on you to make the connections is the big thing. And like it obviously takes a while to like make friends and make connections, but like the more that you're involved in a community and the more that you are involved in things, the more connections you'll make, because you'll meet new people, you'll meet other people. Some you might not like, and then some you might really connect with. But in the running community, personally, I've only met fantastic people. Like, I don't think that I've ever met specifically a distance runner that I've been like, this person was kind of rude. I've only ever met nice distance runners, and that's because we all bond over the same thing, and because we all are feeling the same thing. So at the start line, like, everyone in the community is just fantastic, and I hope every day that everyone finds like their community like that, because that's something that just like has improved my life so much mentally, physically, just it's made me a better person as well.
Yeah, it always comes back to that thing that my friend coined, and I just keep like yanking it and I keep stealing it. And I think I've said it in every podcast so far, but that brotherhood through mutual suffering that really
Yes.
brings the endurance sports community. Like you said, like you haven't met someone who we know is rude or mean to you. I haven't either, and I know a few runners, so it's super cool that the endurance community is just super awesome and super supportive of one another. And what's interesting too is when I was looking through your articles, like someone who popped up a lot as someone who has really been supportive to you was Nora Hanson.
Yes.
And,
yeah, and we're on opposite teams too.
Yeah. Is she on a different Rochester team too? Or
she's actually in Red Wing.
Oh, she's in Red Wing. Okay.
Yeah, we competed more together when I was in Casson because we were in the same section, I believe. But yeah, I have her number and everything. Like every time we're at a meet, like we're always like talking to each other. Like we always say good job. Like even if we're not competing against each other, like we're always like we're like mutual friends with the sport. And it's such a cool, like that's the amazing thing about running is I've made just so many bonds where I'm like, I barely know you, but I'm like I know you, and like I can come up and talk to you at a race. Like, and there's obviously a lot of Rochester girls too, like specifically the Mayo and Century team, like they all know me. And like I'm terrible with names, but like if they ever come up to me, I'm like, hey, I remember you. Like I've had so many like half-hour long conversations with like random people that I don't even know. Just because we bond over running.
Yeah.
That's like the favorite part of my entire meet. Like I remember after All City Cross last year, I was talking with this big group of lured girls, and we were all just like talking for like a half hour after the race, and it was just so fun. I was like, this is so chill. I was like, no one cares. Like this is just great.
Yeah, that's what I love about the endurance community so much. Like I was talking to Sophia. There's no way you're gonna know her because she's from Wisconsin, but
okay.
But she told me, I was like, track meets are social events, and she was like, oh yeah, they are social events. Like I talked to all the people, like, and it's funny because she comes from a very small school, so it was just like her family, because her uncle's a coach, and she ran her relays with her cousins, which is also like crazy. But like for even her family, it was just like this super close family event. Like stake track, as someone would always make it from her family, so it's kind of funny. Yeah. So back to this Rochester, like who are some people, I mean, even not Rochester, but just like the whole state, like who are some people who really help support you that we haven't mentioned yet?
So, again, I'm really bad with names, but I would say the Mayo team is especially really good. Like, I mean, they're very, like, Mayo is a very, very chill school. Like, they're always so friendly. Like, I always say hi to all of them. Like, they'll always cheer for me at meets. I'll cheer for them. And, like, there's never, I mean, Century and Lures are also fantastic with that, but Mayo kind of sticks out because I have a couple friendships. I actually saw, one of them is Willamine. She goes to St. Olaf now, St. Olaf College. And I've actually talked to her a lot about performance anxiety and all that. And I've just formed a lot of bonds with that team, partially because mutual friends, like a lot of my friends on my team are friends with Mayo. Like
Right.
Jam and Mayo were like the kind of like the duo in the Rochester like community. And they've always been supportive. Century is also great. I've met so many nice Century girls, same with Lourdes. Like they're so supportive. Like they're just always cheering. Like they're never like, oh my gosh, like we only like her because she's fast, but they'll be like, you're so nice. And I'm like, thank you. like whenever
It's awesome.
like if I'm talking to someone and they're just like, you're really nice. I'm like, thank you. That's like a way better compliment than being like, you're fast.
Then
You can
yeah,
run well.
exactly. Yeah, some of the best compliments I've gotten, like maybe 90% of them are, oh, you take photos. And I'm like, thank you. But then someone was like, you really inspired me at this meeting. I'm like, thank you. Like it's a whole different level of compliment, I feel like, to compliment someone's character over their work.
Yeah. And I also kind of make like I have a little like kind of community on Strava too. I love my Strava posts. Like I love like just putting my random like spitfire thoughts on there. But it's also like a community. Like I follow a lot of people have followed me from other teams. Like I have big groups like from like Lourdes and I don't think many Mayo people have it, but specifically like Lourdes and like Lakeville and Farmington. I've had a lot of like big followings from there. And I'm just like, it's just an easy way to connect and it's nothing serious. Like you can just
Strava
connect.
especially, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like a fun little thing. Like I put up my little pictures, I put up my little workouts, and then if people can laugh about it. Like I've had people come to my Strava and be like, your Strava's iconic. I'm like, thank you. Like that's such a great compliment to me.
Yeah, I probably went Strava. It's flipping hilarious. Yeah, so okay, so back to the anxiety piece. What would you say to someone who wants to reach out to someone with something that they're concerned with, but they're too ashamed, too nervous to do so?
That's really hard because I personally I'm not a very socially awkward person, but I know a lot of people struggle with that, and I completely understand like not wanting to go up. Like it's kind of uncomfortable. It's really vulnerable. Like there's been things that I've shared where I'm like, was this too much? I'm like, but it's also like, this is important. Like, this is important to share. And I think it's more important to reach out, even if you feel like you've been, I wouldn't say rejected, even if you feel like you haven't been fully heard. It's just important to reach out, especially if you trust the person. It's really hard. And again, I personally am always like, if you ever want to come up to me, like, even if I don't know you, I will gladly talk. Like, I will never, like, if anyone ever comes up to me and is like, I'm really struggling, I'll be like, take my phone number, take this, and we can set up a call, and I'm fine. Like, I will do anything to support anyone, like, whether you're on an opposite team or, like, whatever. But, like, it can be hard, especially if you don't have a good support system. What I would do is I would reach out to a teacher, because teachers do care, especially if you really like one, or like a grandparent or just anybody, like your coach. It can be anywhere. Like just because they're not involved in the sport or involved in the thing that you're stressed about or worried about doesn't mean that they won't listen to you and try to offer a solution. I think that's the big thing. It doesn't matter if they don't understand it, you just need to find a support system, because that has really been a game changer for me with my performance anxiety.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, teachers are good to start with. I mean, obviously parents, if you have a good relationship with your parents, coaches too. Again, if you have a good relationship with your coach, which can, I mean, especially for cross country, I mean, I've had good experiences with cross country coaches. In general, I'm not a blanket statement, obviously, but in general,
I just know some people don't have that support system, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a thing you kind of have to really, think about yourself, which, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to say because I'm not you or I'm not them, but
yes,
those are options if they're feasible for you, which hopefully they are. But if they're not, then there's other ways. There's always a way. What would you say to people who think that anxiety is like a very linear thing, that like once you go through anxiety, you can just like, oh, I don't struggle with performance anxiety, all done after this race, all done? What would you say to that?
I would obviously say that's wrong. That's not how it works. That this is something that someone is going to struggle with for their entire life. Whether it's like, it can get better, it can also get worse again. Like, it's not linear. It could be like a chronic illness. Like, think like if they really can't picture that it's gonna like just be the same like once they get better, just think of it as like a chronic illness. Sometimes it gets really good and then it's fine. Sometimes it gets really bad. And there's factors, but sometimes there's also not factors. Like, sometimes you can just be extra stressed and you don't know why. Like, that's happened a lot to me, especially in the past couple months. I'm like, I don't know why I'm stressed. I'm like, I don't know, like, what's going on. I'm like, I don't know why I feel this, like, pressure in my chest. Like, for some reason, like, I don't know. Like, it's like a chronic illness. It's like, it just kind of goes up and down in waves, and there can be reasons, there cannot be reasons. Like, but it will never fully go away. It's always going to be there. And, like, it depends on the environment and, like, how you respond to it, to if it gets better or if it stays at that, like, peak at the top.
Yeah. And that's why it's so hard to, like, set expectations. And you kind of go through that. Because at one point last year, I shot my first college basketball game. And on the, like, from the outside, like, a perspective, it's like, oh, wow, I got to shoot a basketball game. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? But for me, it was like this really, really, weirdly anxiety-inducing experience. I honestly don't know why. It might have come down to pressure. It might have come down to whatever, but I think it's important from the outside too that we don't place expectations on other people when it comes to those things, like, doing these opportunities. Like, oh, someone's running at state. Let's just say, oh wow, you're at state. Why are you nervous? Or even sometimes like smaller meets too. Oh wow, you're at the 2-mile time trial. You shouldn't be nervous. It's like, it doesn't really work like that. Sometimes it just kind of happens, and
I definitely get nervous for the smaller stuff.
Yeah. And some people get nervous for the bigger stuff. It's a different, everyone's different in that regard. So you ran a half marathon.
I did.
Was it your first one?
Yes, it was.
So how was it?
It was really fun. The experience was so cool. Like, I got to go to the convention the day before, and on race day, there were like so many people out with different signs. I had so much fun, like, reading all the signs, running through downtown Duluth. Like, I went into that, like, I wasn't really that nervous on the day. I was just kind of like, this is my first one. I can kind of just do what I want with this. I'm like, this is just like a fun thing. Like, it's a bigger race, and so it's like, I knew I'd have people to run with, and it was just such a cool, like, experience to run through and, like, go to the convention the day before and see all the people, see all the runners, like, all the buses in the morning at, like, getting up at, like, 3 a.m. Like, that was all, like,
wow,
it was all part of the experience.
Yeah. Maybe could you dive more a little bit on that mindset? Because that seems to be, like, the mindset that really has worked. Just kind of that fun first, almost youthful mindset.
It was really nice being able to experience it for the first time. So I kind of just randomly signed up for the race because it was like a week after state track, and I didn't really train for a half marathon, but like, I had running experience, so I was like, it's fine. Like, I'll get through it. I can run 13.1 miles. And like, the day before and even on race day, I was just so like, I was like, wow, there's so many people. I was like, there's so much going on. I'm like, I want to see everything. And like, when I started running, like, I was playing my music and I was like lip syncing to it. Like, I was dancing around. Like, I was having so much fun. And like, that whole race was just kind of like, let's just see what I can do. I'm obviously going to give my best effort, but I don't know anybody here. I'm not going for a specific rank. I'm obviously not going to win this race. I mean, there's like probably elite athletes on this field, but like I can just kind of go and experience it. It was more the experience rather than like a race. And I'm sure in the future that I'll be like, I want to get really serious about a specific race. But like I just kind of went in, I had my fuel, and I was like, I'm going to fuel kind of whenever I need to, probably like every 5 miles. And then I actually got a stomach ache like 5 miles in, and I was like, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm like, I'll be fine. Like I just want to finish it. And like I just want to experience and see all these people and like go to the water stops. Like that sounds really silly, but I was like, I want to go through and like fly through and like grab a cup of water. Like that's such like a like it felt like a super fast runner when I was
Olympic,
doing that. Yeah. Like just silly things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it almost kind of takes off the pressure. Like,
oh yeah.
About the greater experience of, oh, I get to go do this thing, do this thing, do this thing. It's not really dependent on my performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one thing that's helped is like, for me is like, even if something doesn't go well, like I can still hang out with my friends afterward. Like I can still just like, do this. I get to have all these cool things that happened. And like, let's say I was going to apply to a job and I got, rejected from it. I'd be like, well, that's okay. I still get to do what I did before and nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just like in general, like how have you kind of found enjoyment in the sport of running?
For me, it's really simple things. Like, I really love chicken legs. I have a matching outfit every day with chicken legs, my matching sunglasses. Like, I love, like, picking out my running outfit. And I know that's a thing. Guys might not get into that as much. I know a lot of girls do. But that's okay.
Can confirm.
It's really, truly the small things that have just made me, like, love running more. Like, being able to run with friends. Like, I actually had my sister bike with me for a lot of my long runs this summer. And she would like carry my fuel and water and play music. And I was just like, it was such a vibe. It was so fun. And sometimes it's going out to coffee afterwards with friends. Like there was one day over Captain's this summer, we went to Chick-fil-A after our run. And we literally just sat there for like 2 hours eating Chick-fil-A and talking. And it was so fun. And I was like, I'd go run every day if I could go and get like, do something with my friends afterwards. Or it can even be as simple as like, oh gosh, what was I going to say? It can be as simple as being like, oh, because I really like these specific protein bars. Like, if I go run, I'm going to get to eat a protein bar after this. I'm going to go to eat this specific thing. And not that you have to work out to eat it. I'm not saying that at all. Fuel your body, please, because that's important.
Yeah, please eat.
But, like,
please do it.
Yes, please eat. But just doing things like that, or like knowing like when I go out for my run, like it's such like a mental reliever. Like running brings me stress, but it also brings me so much stress relief. Being like after my run, I'll just be like, I feel so good right now. Like I feel like I'm on top of the world. Like it's great.
The runner's high. Yeah.
Yeah, runner's high. I live for runner's high. It's like it's natural endorphins, and it's to make running fun. It's really just the small things, and it doesn't have to be about running, but it can be something that can happen before or after running that can make it extra fun.
I've been like mentally thinking about like the guy version of what you just said. I think we like to play the sign game a lot, where you look at a sign, you say, if I don't hit the sign in like 5 seconds, I'm gonna die. That's the guy version.
Oh, all of our guys go out and hit. We actually had a stop sign out by JM where they hit the stop sign so many times.
And grab the stop sign. Yep.
It actually fell down at one point. Like last season, it fell down. And it was like, oh my goodness. Like they actually knocked down the sign. And like, yeah, for guys, it could be something like, I'm going to, like, I get to go eat after this. Or it's like, I get to
fast food, yeah.
Yeah, fast food. Like it's something so small that can just bring you like joy. And obviously the act of running brings me a lot of joy, but sometimes running sucks. Like there's so many days I'm like, this is just terrible. And it's just kind of like, okay, what can I find one good thing? I also tell a lot of people after their race, I'll be like, what was one good thing about your race? And they're like, okay, I did this well. I'm like, okay, then do that next time. Like if that's one good thing, that's awesome. You did one good thing. Like find one good thing from your run. You'll never regret going out for a run, but I've always regretted if I never go out.
Yeah, that's very true. And typically when you ask them to, think about one good thing, then they'll start thinking about 2 good things, 3 good things, 4 good things, and then it's a cycle of like now they're practicing, you know, mindfulness and gratefulness, which is you know, comes back to that highlight reel of coming of that again, except it's a smaller and more in the moment one. Cool. So we're kind of hitting I think. Cool. So we're coming down to the end of the podcast. So what I'll just do is ask like 3 questions that I always ask everybody. The first one is, what have you done outside of running to take care of your mental health?
I give myself breaks. So I'm a super big nerd. I read a lot. So I will just like sit down and I will read for like hours on end. Or I'll put on a specific show that I like. Or if I'm having a bad day, like I'll go out and I'll go get a coffee for myself, or I'll go get lunch. Or like if I have a bad day, I'm like, I'm gonna do something to make this day better. Like my friends and I, whenever we have like a stressful test and like we made this a tradition actually last school year, whenever we would have a unit test in our A-push class, we would go out and get a coffee or a treat. So we would go like to a different place each time. Like we went to Starbucks, then we went to Caribou, and then we went to like a boba shop. Like it's just like something that's like, okay, this was really hard and this was a really bad time, but now I'm gonna go do something fun. Or it can be like eating a treat. Or it can be like, I'm gonna go sit outside in the pool. I'm gonna take a nap. Naps are great. Like I've taken some of my best naps, like when I was like, had a really hard day because you just crash hard.
Yeah.
Like it's finding like one little thing that's like, this is gonna bring me some joy no matter like what kind of day I've had. Like it's gonna make me happy.
Also, shout out jumping in the lake after a run. Like that is something I've done.
That too.
Yeah.
We have a pool in our backyard. I love jumping in my pool after a run.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was gonna ask this question earlier. This doesn't count, but like when it comes to like, this is kind of more in the context of doing swimming and running at the same time. When you do kind of reach that point of, is this really too much? Like, what are your warning signs for burnout, and how do you solve them?
So
I guess solve is not the word I want to use, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, I get what you mean. I definitely struggle with overworking myself because I enjoy the act of working out. Not because of a certain physique, not because of my certain health. I just genuinely enjoy it. And so burnout, I can tell if I'm getting burned out usually if I'm like extra tired. And that's the point where my parents are like, okay, you're going to skip a double tomorrow and you're going to take a nap. I'm like, but I don't want to do that. But then I do it and then I feel great. Like, usually if I'm feeling the, like, terms of burnout, I don't really, like, feel it physically. I just feel it mentally first. And I don't feel like I'm like, I don't want to do this. I feel like I'm so exhausted, but I need to keep going. Like, I will push myself until I pass out. Like, if I didn't have people to stop me, like, I would go until I'm, like, on the floor, like, can't move anymore. So, like, I have my parents and my coaches be like, yeah, we're going to change the schedule. You're not going to do a swim and run today. You're just going to run, and you're going to go home and take a nap. And you're going to do something. You're going to do something for yourself today. And, like, or my parents will be like, we're not going to make you do anything tonight. Just sit down, chill, do not move. I'm like, okay. Sometimes you just need to take a day or, like, extra rest, and it's just, like, okay, let my body recover. Because, like, it's just more so, like, the mental tiredness. But that's what I do, so I don't experience burnout, which I haven't experienced. I almost felt it in swimming because I did it for so long, and then I started running, and that really helped. It just helped me create more of a balance for myself.
Yeah, it's another thing I've dealt with too. Like last summer, I nearly quit because I was just so burned out. But like what I've tried to do recently is like take a day, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's not just random day in the week. It's every Sunday after church. I do nothing for the rest of the day. Yeah. Or even better, like I do things that like really connect me with other people. Like send a message to someone who I haven't talked to in a while. Something that really kind of it's for me more than it's for other people. Because you also get into the thing of like doing things for other people versus doing things for yourself. And you really have to like be intentional and think about, am I really helping myself or am I just doing this to please other people? Sometimes you can do both and that's good, but sometimes you can only do one and you have to really think about like, which one am I actually doing right now? And like really just thinking that through. So the second of 3 questions, describe John Marshall cross-country track team in 3 words.
Ooh, supportive, accepting. Oh, gosh, there's too many words. Supportive, accepting, and I would just say inclusive. And
Yeah,
accepting and inclusive can sound the same, but they mean different things. When I say inclusive, I mean we accept anyone, any speed, whatever you believe in, whatever. Like, we're never going to
right.
judge you for that. John Marshall's fantastic with that. We have a very diverse school, which I'm very proud to be a part of. And then, um, accepting is just kind of like accepting people where they're at and how they are mentally, physically, like what stage they're at in life, what grade they're in, like accepting where they're at and assisting them along the way with that, and not just being like, "Oh, yeah, you're on our team, but we don't accept this part of you specifically." It's accepting everyone
Right.
for who they are, where they're at, how they're feeling.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And finally, what advice would you like to give to runners just starting out in the sport?
Just enjoy it. It's like, you want it, you chose it. So like, don't do it if you don't enjoy it. Enjoy where you're at, get a pretty pair of shoes, have fun with it. After if you have a really hard run, go out for coffee with your friends, do something for yourself. Like, it doesn't have to be so serious all the time, and that's something I struggle with personally, is I take it very seriously all the time. But really, it's not that serious. Like a recovery run, not that serious. Like, you're just going out to put miles in your legs. Like, just kind of have fun with it, and like, don't focus on like paces or what you're doing every day, because I know, again, I struggle with that as well. And I tell myself, I'm like, today's a different day. I ran slower than yesterday, and that's okay. Like, focus on where you're at and enjoy it, because you're not going to have it again. Once you pass that day, you don't get that day back.
Yeah. Some of the best advice I've ever heard is be where your feet are.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that'll do it for today. Thank you so much. Again, thank
Yeah.
you, Abby, it's so super cool we got to talk about this. And I think this could do a lot, to be honest. Like, this could really do a lot in advancing the conversation in mental health in sports. So thanks you so much for coming on. Have a
Yeah.
great rest of
Thanks
your
for having
season.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm done.